Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be discussing Uranus entering into Gemini, where it is going to spend quite a long extended period. In 2025, we're going to have Uranus remain in Gemini until November, then it's going to retrograde back into Taurus. And in 2026, Uranus will enter into Gemini, where it'll stay until 2033. I'm going to put all the dates down below. So in this video, we're going to be talking about Uranus in Taurus. Okay, we're going to be talking about Uranus in Gemini, the history of it, what to expect. And then we're going to go into all 12 signs. Do check your sun, your sense of identity, how your soul evolves, your moon, your emotional well-being, and your rising sign. This is you and how you show up in the world and what other people pick up off of you. Now, if you'd like to book a reading with me, there will be a link down below in the description for you to do so. And if you'd like your website to be designed, SX Tech will have you covered. And there will be a link down below in the description for you to also find those details. Uranus in Taurus. Now, we currently have been experiencing Uranus in Taurus since 2018. Yes, it did exit. Uranus went back into Aries, and Uranus entered back into Taurus in 2019, where it remained till 2025. And then on the 7th of July, Uranus is going to enter into Gemini. And then in November, Uranus is going to come back to Taurus. And then in 2026, Uranus will leave Taurus for good. Okay, and it will remain in Gemini. That being said, you can find the dates down below. So the last time we had Uranus in Taurus was in 1934 to 1942. And that is when we experienced global upheaval, the Great Depression, and World War II. Well, the beginnings of World War II. There was a lot more war talk during that time. So that being said, we currently now with Uranus in Taurus, what did we experience since 2019, 2018? We experienced with Taurus and Uranus being there, changes in finances, fluctuations in finances, money, the things that we value. Now, Uranus is an energy and planet that rules over technology, innovation. So we did see a lot to do with cryptocurrency coming about and finances in that sense. We did see a lot of fluctuations when it came to global markets. We also became very aware about financial differences between people, right? Our different levels in society. And there was a big shift towards, wow, there's a huge shift between, everybody in the world. And what we like one of the big things I think we saw a lot with Uranus and Taurus was in 2020, right? And that was also when Saturn entered into Aquarius, was food and resources. In 2020, when we went through the pandemic, that is when we saw people and the shops go really, really wild, and people were just buying everything. People were hoarding. Taurus is also where we hoard stuff, right? This is where we hoard stuff. If you have a second house, it's your second house, that's what you hoard. This is where we decide this is the thing and we are hoarding it. Now, we saw a lot of that happening with food, basic necessities. Yes, that was huge. And value, what do we value, became a huge, huge, question. What are my values? What are your values? Do we have the same values? Do we have different values? Big. So we all were going through this process of reinventing our values, what matters to us, our sense of self-worth on a personal level. But we did see these changes happen in society. We also saw changes when it came to your precious metals, gold and silver going up in price. And believe it or not, semi-precious stones, moldavite. Oh, that is when it took to, basically TikTok, and everybody was going crazy over moldavite. And that really increased the price of moldavite because Taurus is everything of the earth. So your precious metals, semi-precious stones, this is where we see people just going like, whoo, all over completely, because Uranus is where we, it's unconventional, and we look at things in an unconventional manner in terms of astrology, all of those things. Astrology, that really, on TikTok and social media became huge. People were talking about it, people wanted to know about it, people wanted to know a lot more. We also definitely did see, shifts when it came to farming and land. Yes, the farming, industry that really went through a major shift and a toll. They were always in the news about different issues and challenges that were facing, them as farmers. And let's not forget shifts in weather, the earth. All earth related matters is Taurus because it's an earth sign and it rules over values, the resources of the earth when it comes to our food, fruits, vegetables, and yes, precious stones, precious metals, all of that stuff, and our money. And we definitely did see the shift in all of these areas of life. And when Uranus re enters back into Taurus in November, where it will remain until 2026, we are going to be completing the cycle of this, financial upheaval and changes because Uranus is a planet of chaos. It does bring that. And we do feel, yes, there's innovation, yes, there's these ideas, but at the same time, there's a lot of chaos that is happening. It's not steady, it's unstable. Because if anything, Uranus does bring instability. Uranus in Gemini. Now, in 1774 to 1782, American Revolutionary War. This is when the sparking of the birth of the United States was formed. This was all about freedom and, fighting for what you value and your sense of freedom, liberty. Then in 1859 to 1866, U.S. Civil War, brutal conflict over slavery, states' rights. It was huge. Then we also had 1941 to 1949, World War II and the aftermath. Okay, that was huge as well. Global war against fascism, genocide, followed by the creation of the United Nations and the atomic bomb in Hiroshima. That was huge, right? This is all the war that happened. And you're going to sit here and ask yourself, why? Why was war so prevalent with Uranus and Gemini? To understand it, you have to understand the workings of Uranus and the workings of Gemini. Now, Gemini rules over being ruled by Mercury, communications, right? It's our ideas, it's our mind, it's our intellect. And Uranus is unpredictable, it's chaos, it's revolution. And what we see continuously with Gemini is the divide. That is what always happens with Gemini, is the divide. Gemini is the twins. We see that divide, the duality, two opposing forces, two different views, because everybody has their own mind, their own intellect. So what we're going to see with Uranus in Gemini, which will be happening, okay, July 7th, Uranus will enter into Gemini, where it will remain until November. And then in November, Uranus will enter back into Taurus, where it will remain until 2026. And then April, Uranus will enter back into Gemini, where it will remain until 2032. And then it's going to go into Cancer. And then the end, December of 2032, it'll go back into Gemini into 2033. And then there afterwards, right, it's going to leave and go into Cancer. So that being said, dates down below. This is huge. We see this breaking free within us as communities, because Gemini also rules over community. Uranus rules over community, global community. And Gemini is more your neighbors. It is the people around you. So think neighboring countries. Right? Think our neighbors. Think your neighbor from across from you, the people that you communicate with, because Gemini is this energy of communication, expression, intellect. And because it's ruled by the twins, there is duality, meaning that I might be communicating with you, but you have a different point of view than I do. And I think this is why we see this within the energy of Gemini so much, because Gemini is an air sign and it has the twins. That's the symbolism for Gemini. Gemini can always go either way. They're curious, they're open. They can decide one day you'll speak to a Gemini and this is what they're doing. The next day they're doing something different. they change a lot because within them, it's almost like two different personalities, you know? And if we were to talk about the darker side of Gemini, there is this, two identities where you'll know a Gemini and then one day find something completely like they had a double life. The whole theory of living a double life is Gemini. And this is not to say all Geminis are busy out here living a double life. No. Obviously, we are talking about the lower octave and the higher octave because Gemini on the higher octave is the duality of having two different points of view and understanding that each one has its, truth, but both are different, So when we see planets like Uranus, which is revolution, it's anarchy, it is our, humanity, it's our rights, our sense of freedom and liberation. This is when we see this divide happens. Now, I want you to think back. Okay, go back with me to 2020. In 2020, we had the North Node in Gemini. Okay, and when we had the North Node in Gemini, we saw this again happen. The divide within communities. Your political views versus my political views. That is the divide. We also saw the divide as well of when the pandemic happened. People wanted to vaccinate, the people who were against the vaccination, the divide. And who would you have these conversations with? You would have these conversations maybe with your neighbors, your loved ones, your community, and online, in person, and you would see the divide. Divide is a common theme with Gemini when we have planets transiting Gemini, especially the North Node. And we still are seeing this theme because when we have a North Node transiting a sign, it takes us through an 8-year period until the North Node enters into Sagittarius and the South Node will go into Gemini. So this is where we see this very strongly, the divide. And Uranus comes in with this energy. And this is where we all are forced to pick a side, to pick a, stand by something. What do you stand for? People want to, bring up their political views. People want to bring up what is your view on this. And this is very Gemini, very much so. Because if you know a Gemini or have a Gemini in your life, they're going to ask you about your view on different things. The food you like, the places you go, the sports that you like, everything becomes, what is your opinion? And the sharing of opinions. I think the trouble comes in when we become so rigid in our thought that our opinion becomes the only opinion. But anywho, Uranus does do this. Uranus also brings in this divide amongst us all, our divides within our communities, our separation from the other based on what you stand for and what I stand for. Uranus and Gemini and everything we can experience from now until 2033. This is going to be an experience of what's to come and what we can expect. Obviously, wars did happen in history, inventions happen in history. These are things that we can expect, but hopefully as a society, we know better and we, see the deep truths, as they say. So we're going to see a major shift in education. Education and learning is going to become a huge, huge shift. And I'm talking about the kind of education even that has to do with, your early grades of school, your learning, your writing. And this is going to even change teaching, because Gemini rules over teaching, writing, communication, journalism. We are going to see major, major shifts happening here. So we're going to see personalized AI-led learning systems. This is going to be huge. Technology, Uranus, advancement when it comes to learning systems. Rise of self-paced, right? DIY and decentralizing education. Education be something that basically we all should have. Uranus is at making a change, making education something that we all should have. And it shouldn't just be elitist. It should be for everyone. Uranus will come in with that energy and we will be wanting to be, fighting for this cause. This cause will matter to us. DIY is great because Gemini rules the hands. And this is where you see how can you, make this work? How can you try and do this for yourself? Which I think is pretty cool. I think that's fun. you know. Rejection of traditional schooling methods and modules. This is going to change. Grades, exams. Yes, this will change. What is their different ways of learning? What is everyone's mind is different. Schooling systems will change. That is a big thing, and I definitely feel that that would happen. About, you know, looking at the capability, not judging people on the exam mark or what they got, their grade that they got. This is going to be like, but maybe you skilled it in a different way. Maybe you skilled with your hands. Maybe you skilled with information, but maybe you're just not great at math. Those type of things are going to be definitely a rejection of anything that is traditional and what we consider to be high performing, especially in the education system. Remember, Uranus, it is different and it's unique. So this means that we're going to look to the outcasts, the people that we saw maybe not passing, right? And we're going to be like, but maybe they are the geniuses. Maybe there's something different about them. That is what we're going to do. And maybe if we focus on their genius, we could help them excel and they could be the next inventor of something. Okay? This is where we are going to really shift the way we see what genius is. Okay, cognitive enhancement tools becoming normalized. Oh, yes, you know, everything to do with neuroscience and our cognitive behavioral systems and what is going on within our mind and why we are acting the way in which we are acting. Huge shifts. The mainstreaming of neurodivergent learning styles. Yes, trying to help everybody given their learning aptitude where they are at, not trying to be like, this is normal, this is how everyone learns, textbook learning. Yes, no, this is going to be good for us all, right? And this is also going to open us up to multicultural education systems, maybe even, you know, connecting to people from different parts of the world, wanting to learn and enhance our skills in different ways. This is so great for education. Education is going to go through the most transformation you've ever seen in the next couple of years. And when we try to do things the normal way, we are going to see Uranus do its thing and tilt and put everything upside down, you know? And I think that is very interesting. Technology and communications, new communication platforms beyond social media. This is where we might even see the social media maybe that was no one knew about taking off, right? The social media that was like, everyone thought was gonna be a dud. Next thing, that becomes the most awesome platform and everyone wants to jump on board and be there. Advancements in neural interfaces and brain computer tech. Yes, this will also be happening. Technology and communication is going to be huge. Languages are going to go through a whole shift. Rise in quantum internet faster than 5G speeds. Internet will want to be faster. This is Gemini. Gemini is, you know, speed, because Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is the quickest planet around the sun. That's why we get so many Mercury retrogrades, like 3 to 4 in a year. So yes, we're going to want faster internet. We want everything fast. We want to communicate fast. We want to get the message out fast. How much faster can I do it? Be careful of your anxiety. Okay, because speed, you will notice that, and this is what you'll even find within your mind. You're trying to relax and go to bed, but your mind is filled with ideas and communication and social media and the news. And mindfulness, meditation, quietening that mind is so necessary. Journaling and writing out, brain dump, necessary, because the mind is going to also want to move at lightning fast speeds, just like how we want the internet. Okay, surge in smart tech. This we'll definitely see, right? Real-time info access. We want things right now everything must be quicker. Quicker is going to be the big. Mainstream use of AI avatars, AI companions, and bots. This will be interesting if this happens. You must know, okay, this is due to the fact that Uranus is community, and yes, this is all about tech. So seeing that your tech can be your friend, you can have, you know, that bot be your pet. Interesting. More digital twins, holographic versions of self, you know, those games that you play where you're in a virtual world. Yeah. So we're going to see a lot of this media and information. Journalism is going to go through a whole shakeup as well with Uranus here. Collapse or reinvention of traditional journalism. I'm not surprised. People have been complaining about traditional journalism for a while. Trust crisis in media deepens. Like we just like, okay, okay. We like, ooh, we don't trust the media. We would rather trust the regular Joe or Jane on the road telling us about the news. That's what's going to happen. People will be like, I want to know from the person who experienced it. Let them go on, some sort of social media live and give their story, because I want to hear this straight from the person who said it. I don't want to hear it from, the journalist who's reporting. Are they reporting the facts? Are they putting it in a way that makes, the situation seem biased? Definitely. Short form, real time media becomes dominant. Yes, quicker, shorter, like, just like something on threads. You want to get the news and you want to get just a tidbit about it because you need to move on to the next bit of news because this is Mercury. Okay, you can't stay too long on this. Remember, Mercury is just especially in Gemini, it's just information upon information. It's not just about depth. Do you know everything, or do you know little bits about everything? Okay. AI generated content floods the internet. Okay, this is big, especially AI generated news kind of stuff. Deep fakes and synthetic media challenges what's true. Okay, this is something as well that happens. Education around media literacy and truth discernment becomes crucial. Okay. Transport and mobility, yes, because Gemini is ruled by Mercury. It rules short distance trips. So our vehicles, okay, when you're traveling around in your neighborhood, vehicles, as well as bicycles. Breakthroughs in electric automatic vehicles, development in smart traffic systems, more lightweight personal mobility devices, hoverboards, drones, those type of things. Innovations in our travel, like we want to travel to places a lot quicker, so we're going to see this as well. Like I want to get there faster. What's moving me going to get me there quick? I want to be there ASAP. I need to be there yesterday. Okay, because with Uranus, it's the future tech, travel, cars. How can I get there quicker? How can I advance myself? What's going to give me the speed? Need for speed. Mars transits redesigned for smarter module systems. So even mass transits, like your buses and all of these things, your trains, how can we get these people quicker to where they need to be so they can get to the job, so they can get to where they need to be? And this means more money for us. Okay. AI and robotics. This is going to go huge, especially with Pluto in Aquarius, North Node in Aquarius, July of 2026, and Uranus in Gemini. Oh yeah, it's kickstarting something, because you must know when the North Node enters Aquarius, it's our next cycle for the next 8 years until South Node enters into Aquarius. So this is huge. We want it yesterday. Okay. So we're going to see integration of AI into daily decision making, because Gemini rules over the mind and we need to think about things. Can AI help me make a decision? Should I date that guy or not? Should I go out today or not? What should I do? Okay. Human AI collaborations become normal at work and at school. Rise of synthetic personalities. Okay. AI friends, assistants, tutors. Ethical dilemmas, sound AI intelligence and consciousness. Notice that basically my big thing I want you to notice, especially for my notes, education. And I feel this for the teachers, because this could be, there's something about having a human teacher that can really help at times us understand things on a deeper level. Language and speech. If you got a lot of plans in the third house, comment down below and let me know if you speak many languages or 2 languages, bilingual. Let me know. Language and speech. If you have Gemini placements, planets in Gemini, or third house placements. So far, the people that I meet know or want to learn a second language. Universal translation tools become standard. Communication across languages in real time. Revival of digital preservation of endangered languages. Okay. Emergence of new slang. Yes, we got different slang words that want to come up. People are reinventing all these slang words. You know, I know the youngsters are using Riz and Law. We're going to have some new ones come up. Okay. And then we're going to have to research what they mean. More people learning multiple languages via, you know, the internet and so forth. Cognitive perception, mental health. Mental health will be a big one. Innovations in mental health tech, apps, brain scans, emotional AI. People exploring alternate ways of thinking and perceiving, rise in collective interest in conscious hacking, lucid dreaming, psychedelics, all these things if we want to understand ourselves a lot deeper. Social movements focus on destigmatizing neurodivergence, because you must know that Uranus is who are the outcasts, and sometimes people treat neurodivergent people like, you know, the outcasts of society. This is teaching us to respect different people, different minds, different ways of processing things. We are all different, and let's try and work with us all in different ways. Be understanding, be empathetic, okay? Social structures and identity. Shifting away from fixed identities. Remember, Gemini is, you know, the twins, dualistic, okay? And Uranus rules over being, you know, different, as like Uranus brings the energy of, you know, the queer community. Understand that everybody's sexuality is up to them to interpret, and it's different. People creating multiple selves, online, in person, maybe more scam accounts. Growth of non-traditional families, chosen communities. Gemini's community, it's also your relatives, it's your siblings. So we are going to see a growth in non-traditional families. Rebellion against rigid belief systems and dogma. We cannot be dogmatic. See, sometimes in the area of where Sagittarius rules is where we believe something and be dogmatic about it, okay? This is where we can't be dogmatic. We need to shift our belief systems. We need to be open to all kinds of people, all different types of walks of life, all communities of people, okay? Expansion of global youth-driven movements and innovation hubs. Yes, the youth become vitally important because Gemini rules over the youth. Okay, the youth, the younger people. This is why it rules over early grade school, and Gemini rules over education. Higher education is ruled by Jupiter. So it's like the youth. Before you get to higher education, you are vitally important, and not just only higher education, because internships, that's all Jupiter. So if you're doing an internship, that's Jupiter. Going after your master's, that's Jupiter. The education system before then, think, you know, your pre-K, your preschool, elementary school, middle school, you know, high school. The young become something that is very vitally important. And what we do with them as a community, what they want to do, they become the future, right? What may decline or collapse? Traditional universities, standard curriculums, education will go through a shift. Broadcast media, cable news, and legacy news outlets, we can see some of them fall, okay? Car-based infrastructure in cities in favor of smaller mobility, paper-based communities, bureaucracy, outdated testing methods, jobs focus only on repetitive tasks replaced by automation and AI. So we do see this. Things that can be replaced by AI can happen, especially in education, writing, journalism, so forth. A lot of those stand out, and, you know, data entry, those type of things. This is where we're going to see a major shift. Maybe even personal assistance. If your AI can do that for you, these are going to be the shifts within society. And it's interesting to see, you know, some of them are good, some of them are like, but at the end of the day, this is how we can see, you know, going forward. And what we truly want to, you know, see in our lives for our future and what we want to master. Remember, this is going to be an experience. We all have never been through this before in our lifetime. The last time Uranus was in Gemini was in 1949. So now we've never been through this. We all going to experience this together this first time. And I think keeping an open mind, understanding each other will help us make a better future. Hello, Aries. Aries, you've just been through it since 2018 with Uranus in Taurus. This would have brought up a lot of upheaval to your finances, your income. Uranus is a planet of unexpected changes. It is financial liberation in the area of life that was happening for you. And you could have seen unexpected wins, unexpected losses. This was asking you to, find financial freedom, financial liberation. It also questioned your values. What do you value? Your values about yourself, your sense of self-worth. This was Uranus basically sometimes even putting your fears in front of your face just so you can break the chains and liberate yourself. And you're not completely done with the cycle, because remember, Uranus will re-enter into Taurus in November until 2026 April, and then it's going to enter into Gemini. So you're going to come back to this, where you're going to get this opportunity of financial liberation, asking yourself, what are your limiting beliefs? What is holding you back? What do you want for yourself when it comes to your finances? You've had all this time. You would have been gifted ideas, opportunities, taking the risk. Uranus is the risk for the biscuit. This is where you were asked to do those things. This could have been like, seeing changes, and it could have been also challenging. I'm not going to even lie to you, because this is your resources, your food, your income, your values, your sense of self-worth. It could have brought losses too, because Uranus is unexpected changes. And what do I mean by losses like in income, losses in resources. Maybe that month you didn't have the amount of food you wanted, or an unexpected opportunity when you didn't have came through for you. That is Uranus. It's unpredictable. It's unexpected. Now you're going to have Uranus in Gemini influencing, right, your area of mind, communication. This is going to give you this insight, epiphanies, grand awakenings, middle of the night thoughts that come into your mind. Expect major changes in how you think and communicate and learn. This is where you're going to decide you want to learn something, you want to teach, you want to write a novel. You are like pushing forward, where you're thinking, I have these brilliant ideas, I need to put it out there. This is genius. Uranus is genius. Don't be afraid of it. It's where we have genius ideas and follow through. Sudden interest in tech, AI, coding. Your mind is like booming, like, I just need to go and try this thing out. I want to try it. Go for it. Siblings and neighbors may surprise you. Yes, this can create some upheaval when it comes to your siblings, your neighbors, the people around you, the people that you communicate with. With this unexpected gossip, unexpected news, right? Unexpected things being said to you that you're like, what did you just say? Why did you just say it? You just like, I need to liberate myself from the friends I keep. You could even decide to shift your friend group. This is the people that you connect to. And you might decide you want to join a new group, or maybe you're going to you're going to leave the group, but not leave the group, but you're going to find a group of community that you feel really connected to. Writing, speaking, digital media could become your thing. Maybe you got a message and you decide to take it to social media, right? Content creation, social media marketing. You start thinking of all these innovations and ideas of what you want to do. You are blessed with these opportunities, these epiphanies, these grand awakenings, genius ideas. I'm going to ask you to kindly find yourself a meditation practice or a way to quieten your mind, because Uranus within this area of the mind can really create restlessness. Like when you're trying to switch your mind off, it's just got thoughts racing. And especially because it's Gemini, you already have this quick mind, you already think of things very quickly. Uranus can give you these thoughts that seem electrifying, because Uranus rules over electricity and it's just moving through your mind so quickly. So meditation and ways to quieten your mind will be so great. Nature walks, singing bowls, ringing a bell, do the thing, breath work, quieten that mind of yours, because this can make you quite anxious. You could decide to learn a new language. You could decide you want to find out more about your neighborhood, or like your vicinity, or maybe the country that you're in, and you start taking road trips. You are deciding all these ways in life which you're curious. You're curious about societies, you're curious about communities, you want to know more. You might find yourself adventuring out to various communities. Maybe you decide that, hey, I want to take a road trip down to this city and meet those people and see what's happening, what historical site is here. This is where you literally are shifting a lot. And these insights, don't be like, okay, why am I taking a road trip to this historical site? For what purpose? Maybe you go there and you become so interested that you decide you want to write blogs about it, okay? You do different things, and I'm going to beg you to remain curious and open, because the more curious and open you are, the more ideas that can come your way. The more you don't play with this, the more you feel stuck and stagnant. Your hands become a priority, right? So maybe you decide, I want to, DIY more. I want to do it myself. I want to do this. I want to learn this. I want to try new handcrafts. Handcrafts become a thing as well. And you find yourself doing this, right, a lot more. And like I said, there can be surprises within family, because Uranus is that surprising energy. Maybe gossip, maybe someone unexpectedly falls pregnant, okay? Maybe you have a conversation that changes your whole family trajectory. Maybe you decide to uproot from the neighborhood you're in and move to a totally different one. This is about making changes. Maybe the community and the neighborhood that you're in, like, you've outgrown it, and you're asking yourself, what lies out there? Let me go try it out. Maybe I just want to move 2 neighborhoods away. Or 3, or maybe to a different vicinity completely. But you are doing what you need to do to make improvements. And through these experiences, you get introduced to new ideas, new people, and you start communicating, expressing yourself in a different way. You start changing by the introductions you start making to your life. And this is what it's bringing for you. Taurus, you've been dealing with Uranus in your sign since 2018. Took a break, came back in 2019, remained there until 2025. July 7th, Uranus will enter into Gemini, where it will remain until November. Then Uranus will re-enter back into Taurus until 2026 April. And then in 2026 April, Uranus will re-enter back into Gemini, where it will remain until 2032. Then it will go into Cancer. And then in December of 2032, Uranus will enter back into Gemini, where it will remain until 2033, and then in 2023 shift into Cancer. So that being said, this transit for you is talking a lot about changes in money. But before we talk about your money with Uranus and Gemini, let's talk about Uranus and Taurus, shall we? Because this is something that you've been experiencing and you're going to continue to experience later this year in November into April of 2026. So Uranus is basically influencing your first house, you, everything about you, your identity, everything that belongs to you, your ideas, your career, your home. And comment down below if you're a Taurus that you have been dealing with upheaval and unexpected changes since 2018, 2019. One way you had the job then changed. One way you thought the family situation was stable, and then it changed. The career, the goals, the ambitions, you, and everything that you wanted. This was a liberation of self and self-identity. There would have been a lot of casting out of fears and emotional baggage from the past, because before 2018, you had Uranus in Aries, and that was influencing your subconscious. Now, after you went through letting go that emotional baggage with Uranus in Aries, right before 2018 entered your sign, this is where you were like, hey, what can I make in this world? What can I do? How can I liberate myself? How can I get more freedom? How can I gain more freedom for my time, my energy? What job changes do I need to make? What can I do to build on myself, my identity, and your core essence? A lot of you coming into, this new transit is going to experience a shift in finances, but in November, you're going to be November 2025 until April of 2026, you are closing out a cycle. The dates will be down below. You're closing out a cycle. You've been in this since like 8 years now. You're like, okay, what changes? What do I need to change? What am I done with? What do I need to liberate myself from? Because you've done a lot of growing up. You've done a lot of self-liberation. You had to let go of the relationship. You had to let go of the professional relationship that wasn't working. I'm talking about that contract that wasn't serving you well. Okay? This is where you had to break the chains from the world that was trying to chain you with Uranus in Taurus. And you're going to experience that from November 2025 until April of 2026. And this is huge. This is up-leveling. This is like you also gaining the rewards for the work you have been doing over the past couple of years since 2018. So yes, you will reap the rewards for those efforts, but you'll also be very honest with yourself of what you've done with. Now Uranus is going to enter into Gemini July 7th, okay? Where you're going to embrace this whole new energy until 2033. And this for you is going to, what you used to value, your security, your stability, right? Finances, the money that you earn, your skills, your income is no longer enough for you. It's not enough. You were seeking absolute liberation and freedom. You want financial freedom. You want freedom of your time. You want freedom of your wallet, right? Uranus is here to shake up how you earn money and what you believe you are worth. So your whole worth is going through a whole revamp. Sudden career pivots are likely, especially towards, a shift in what you want that's going to give you this liberation. And let's talk about that for a second. Sudden career pivots are likely. If you're in a job or a career or in a situation, Taurus, that is making you feel chained and Uranus is liberation, guess what? Sometimes those situations can fall apart just for you to liberate yourself. Uranus is that planet of unexpected change, unexpected events in one's life. And you could already be feeling this, like this job, this career is stifling me, it's chaining me, right? And this is what you could be feeling. And it's asking you, how can you liberate yourself? And sometimes Uranus is that great awakener, chain breaker, liberator that can put a situation to an end just so you can focus on your next step. Let that sink in. Okay? So you can expect when Uranus comes back into Taurus that you're going to be making pivotal decisions. You will be reaping the rewards based on efforts put in, and you're going to be making some pivotal decisions for your next steps. Because the next, couple of years until 2033, this is all about financial liberation. This is freedom of time, freedom of what you value. This is what, because we get paid in every day and age for our time, for our skills, for our talents, for the work that we do. If it's an office job, that skill, that talent, you're getting paid for it based on your time. You became paid on the knowledge that you have. And yet this is a total reevaluation of your knowledge, your skill and talent and the time that you have, and if it's equal to the pay that you're receiving. So yes, with Uranus entering into Gemini, freelance, remote, or anything digital is which way you are going. Because Uranus is technology, internet, Gemini is quicker, faster, and you're looking at quick, fast, efficient ways for success financially. You might drop a steady job to pursue something totally unconventional. And you need to be around people that value you, meaning that value your mind, your skill, your talents. If you're sitting around people and they don't value you and they're like, that's a dumb idea. Remember that Uranus pays off with the unconventional method that you ever thought you could do in your whole entire life, right? This is that type of energy. This pull to detach from materialism and embrace experiences becomes real, because you're going to ask yourself, what am I experiencing on a day-to-day? Is my day-to-day just feeling like a day-to-day? Do I feel like a slave in my day-to-day? And I will repeat, Uranus is a liberator. Okay? Financial ups and downs will test your faith, but you're being taught to innovate instead of cling. Let go, Taurus. You're not allowed to cling to what you value here. You're asked to let it go. Uranus is going to show you that Uranus has the plan of risk. It's unexpected change that pays off. It's about doing the thing that you thought you could never do, that is so unconventional and out there that everybody else was looking at you like, that's insane, and making that decision anyways. Right? And it pays off. Uranus pays off with unconventional. The more unconventional you are, it pays off with that energy. And remember that this is a transit that's going to be happening over next couple of years. So it's going to be something that's not all going to hit you at once. It's going to be something over a slow period where you're just going to feel like, I need to make a change. I need to make a change. I need to make a change. I need liberation. I need freedom for my time. Okay. And the themes are going to be around income, AI, tech, self-worth, reevaluation, digital assets, How can you earn money that is going to offer you the freedom financially and freedom of time? That is your big quest with Uranus and Gemini. And you're going to be gifted insights, ideas, and grand awakening, opportunities that will come to you unexpectedly. Unexpected opportunities. When you least expect it, falls into your lap. And that's when you're going to have to make these decisions about, should I risk it or not? Gemini, Uranus is entering into your sign. But before it does, let's talk about Uranus and Taurus, where it's been since 2018. Okay, and then the 7th of July, Uranus will enter into Gemini. Okay, and then it's going to remain there until November of 2025, and then it's going to say peace for a bit. It's going to re-enter back into Taurus, where it will stay until April of 2025, and then Uranus will enter into Gemini, where it will remain until 2033. Dates down below. Now let me know how you're experiencing this. What are you looking forward to, and what have you been going through and are still kind of going through, because you're only going to complete this cycle next year with Uranus and Taurus. So let's talk about Uranus and Taurus. This was a challenge. Okay, so you're going to be happy when Uranus enters into Gemini, because you are completing the cycle of Uranus being in Taurus. And this would have been challenging, unexpected, subconscious stuff coming to the surface. Your fears, your emotional baggage, situations from the past. If you suffered from addiction, any type, whether it's shopaholic, whether it is a drug addiction, or would have just, spiraled, came at you left, I feel just in your face, and you would have to face these things. This would have been you facing every trauma, every trigger just being thrown at you out of nowhere, and you having to decide like, oh my God, this is so traumatic. And you would have felt like you couldn't turn to anyone. You'd have to go through it alone. You can't be dependent on anyone. You can't control the situation. Uranus is completely chaos. It's chaos. And in this area of life, it's like subconscious chaos that's now in your reality that you got to face with, and you can't call a friend, because this is the area of going it alone, being by myself. You could call upon a therapist, a counselor, or someone that you deeply trusted. And if you were the type of person who always tried to go it alone and control things, this is where you'd have to learn that you need to absolutely depend on someone. Your community and the very people that were your support group would have mattered to you the most. This is huge, and this is what you're experiencing. And it was kicking up a lot of gunk. And this would have taken you down a spiritual rabbit hole. You'd have been into astrology, meditation, manifestation, synchronicity, seeing number sequences, all of these things would have been thrown at you right there in your face in order for you to decide, okay, all right, what is the value of this? It's like that dark night of the soul where you go through a whole experience where your whole life is shattered and comes to an end, and you decide to become someone new. You would have walked away from things that you've been doing for years. Like you've been doing this for 10 years and you decide, I can't do this anymore. Hidden enemies is a real thing, and you would have known that with this energy. Okay, you would have seen all the people who were acting against you, Gemini. You're probably still going to see it, from November until April. But you would have been seeing the people that were trying to make you the fool. Your eyes had to be open. And this was a lot of energy of stuff from the past being coming to the surface, and triggers, family stuff, things that were part of your lineage that you had to face, whatever it is, whether it was like poverty mindset or lack mindset or addiction. This was the area of life. This is even the area of life where you'd be very aware of what you do to escape a problem, or, what's the word I'm thinking of? Procrastinate? Yes, when you procrastinate, when you got something to do, when you just keep escaping, it would have showed you the problems that you were having within you. Now, Uranus enters into your sign, and this is great. This is like a full awakening of self, right? You're becoming someone completely different, bolder, stranger, more electrifying. This is total glow up. Remember, Uranus is electrifying. So this is like, I'm just so curious about the world and myself around me, and I want to try everything and all of it once. I want to experience it all. And this is what you're going to experience from 2025 into 2033. You may even change your appearance, your style, your name. People from your past may not even recognize you anymore, and that's the point. This is a total reinvention of self, a total like glow up. What are my goals and my ambitions, and how can I get there, and who do I need to be to get there, right? Who do I need to hang with to get there? Who do I need to conversate with to get there? You're going to change who you communicate with, how you express yourself, and the communities that you keep online and in person. You freeing yourself from roles you were expected to play. And this is huge because Gemini is always expected to play the role, either the angel or the villain in someone's story. And this is where you're like, that's it, peace, I'm done. I'm going to be me. Hate me or love me, I am me. And Gemini is cool with that. Okay, Gemini is cool with that. This is you just liberating yourself on the highest level. And it does create a glow up, because when we show up differently and we approach our attitude and goals differently, we become a totally different person, because you are going to be changing the way you approach your attitude. You're going to ask yourself these questions. What is my attitude towards this? How am I doing this? Am I doing this just for the sake of it? Or do I really want to do this? Okay, you might even start expressing ideas that feel way ahead of your time. Yes, because Uranus is the future. So you're going to be gifted. Like I said, this is an awakening of self ideas. Do I want to start a business? Do I want to start a side hustle? Do I want to go out on my own? Do I want to travel the world? What do I want to do? Do I want to write a book? Do I want to publish it? Do I want to teach? Do I want to learn? Do I want to learn a different language? Who am I? And who do I want to be? And what changes am I expected to do? Total liberation. You could let go of relationships, you can let go of the job, you can let go of a lot of things in your life, the friends, the family, everything, because a total new invention of you is being born. And as this is happening, you are realizing, hey, this is me, love me or hate me, I am me, and this is who I want to be. Unconventional is not something that you're going to be afraid of, but you're going to be embracing, okay? Identity is no longer a fixed thing for you. Like I said, you are experimenting, shape-shifting, breaking free. This is identity, reinvention. This is experimenting with looks, styles, awakening, speaking your truth boldly. Personal brand shift and when you change the goals you have, the ambitions you have, what you want for your home, what you want for your family, who you want to be with, everything changes, because this is you and it's pivotal. And you're going to be on this journey from 2025 until 2023. Yes, Uranus will re-enter into Taurus, dates down below, but it's going to be this journey that you're going to be on. So embrace it and be all that you can be. Do not be afraid. This is more something to empower you, to liberate you and set you free. Cancer. Okay, so let's discuss Uranus and Taurus. Uranus has been in Taurus since 2018. Took a break, came back in 2019, remained there until 2025. July 7th, Uranus enters into Gemini. November, Uranus comes back to Taurus until April of 2026, and then Uranus will enter into Gemini, where it will remain until 2033. Dates down below. But we're first going to discuss Uranus and Taurus, because this is something you've been experiencing and are going to possibly, complete that experience in 2026, Uranus and Taurus. Okay, so let me know, how have you been experiencing Uranus and Taurus, and what has come up for you? And let me know your personal planets, because that's important to the story. So here we go. Uranus and Taurus was a lot to do with your social circles, connections, communities, the people that you choose to associate with, their choice. A lot of you would have been through liberations of your community, like, deciding, I don't want to be around these people anymore. The people that you choose to associate with via choice. If you're with a family group, a hobby group, a work group, the organization you work for, the neighborhood watch, the humanitarian efforts that you have, total social, shift within your life. You would have seen friendships shift and change. Some of them unexpectedly becoming distant, some of them moving away, some of them growing closer. You would have definitely changed the people that you surround yourself with. I want you to think back to 2019, 2018. Ask yourself, the people that you're sitting with now, the circles that you were moving in then, are they the same? I bet not, because this would have brought about that grand change, whether you liked it or not. You would have had to liberate yourself from stories and people that were keeping you stuck. You would have joined new communities, new ways, new groups, that online and in person. And this would have allowed you to basically, connect to people that inspired you, that you saw, you could possibly connect to in the future. This could have also been where you could have joined a collaboration effort, networking online, in person, where you could have gained financial resources. This could have also influenced you socially. You would have been out there in the world, invitations. People would have been inviting you online and in person. If influencer, this would definitely be the energy for influencers, marketing, social media managers, the people that were out there making money off social communities. This would have been it. You were getting that bag or collaborating with people to get that bag. This was a transformative experience for you. And you've been on this journey. And this was where you were very out there, mind you. Very much so. And you're completing that. And you would have to, like I said, friendships changed on you. Communities, family groups, all changed on you. You would have had to really choose your community and the people that you saw of value. And the people that valued you, Cancer. So let me know how you're looking forward to this, because you're completing the cycle and what have you experienced. Now, Uranus is going to be entering into Gemini. This is going to be behind you. Right? Behind you, because Gemini is a sign behind you. Dreams, fears, subconscious patterns are for a shockwave of awakening. Okay, you cracked open spiritually. The next couple of years is going to take you on an emotional roller coaster, and anything emotionally that has been holding you back. See, now Uranus is going to be in your subconscious. This is your fears, emotional baggage, past trauma. Some even call it the past life trauma. This is the things that really we don't want any planets or anyone to go into, meaning that if someone's personal planets sit in this house, we don't feel comfortable. Okay, this is like where they triggering us and emotional parts of us, and you are going to have to go through this experience of, yes, a cracking open of the soul and emotional awakening, and this is going to push you forward into the future. You're going to be asked to face your most challenging emotions, ancestral pain, stuff the family keeps, the secrets that others keep. This is secrets too. Secrets will be revealed. Uranus is a planet of unexpected truths just dropping in your lap when you least expect it. It's going to be a truth bomb for real in this essence, because it's emotional, heavy truths that you have to experience. And this is going to take you on a whole new journey. Call this your spiritual awakening. The things that you're going to be interested in are going to change, and this is going to be everything from occult, psychedelics, meditation, yoga, modalities that are spiritual, color therapy, tarot readings, oracle readings, synchronicities, mindfulness, manifestation. This is like you awakening to these parts of yourself. Isolation may feel intense, but this is where the downloads are coming in. Call this the area of life where our guardian angels talk to us. And it's kind of like they show us, like through others, the pain and trauma to release the parts of us that push us to turn to something deeper, something more powerful than us. God, goddess, angels, your divine that you believe in is what you're pushed to call on. This is where you're now more behind the scenes. You're not out there anymore with like Uranus and Taurus, because there you are out there, right? This is where you could have found yourself in community markets and trying to collaborate and doing these things, the things that put you out in the world. Now this is you're taking a step back. Expect unexpected endings and losses and changes. This is the point of isolation that takes you towards your soul's development. This is the point of spiritual journey. Yes, some of you might even decide to become religious. This will be like, it's that, this is the area of life where it's like Jesus take the wheel kind of moment, because and then you have to turn to God to ask for and some sort of deeper understanding about yourself. And even if you're not a Christian, just think of those words, in a way that helps you understand it in this more profound change that you're going through. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of Cancers become the spiritual teacher or the person that shares a spiritual message. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. And if you're already in that field, oh babes, you're taking it to a whole nother level of success, because this is pushing you to go into such deep work within, right? And don't be like, oh, I've done all the work I've done within. If you watch the beginning of this video, I talk about how we always come back to the place we've been before to see the deeper truth. Because it's layers to us. Think of ourselves as onions, and there's beautiful layers, and we keep peeling back the layers in order for us to truly blossom. And that's what you're doing, right? This is really your private rebellion. This is shadow integration. Hidden enemies will be exposed. Oh, yes, love that. The lies will be, out there now, and you can set yourself free. This is sudden solitude, but it's going to gift you something that is not of this world, but something from the spirit world, the unseen realms, because this is exactly where it's happening. Leo. Okay, so let's talk about Uranus and Taurus, because that was like an angular house to you, right? Taurus is a fixed sign, you're a fixed sign, and you've been on this journey since 2018. Okay, you're not completely done with it. Uranus does enter into Gemini July 7th, where it will remain until 2033. But in the middle of that, right, we are going to have November 2025, Uranus will enter back into Taurus, where it will remain until April of 2026. You can check the dates down below to see the exact dates. So you're going to come back to this point. So we need to talk about Uranus and Taurus, you and I. We can't just leave it at that. And I want you to comment down below. Has this been your experience since 2018, 2019? Okay. And also, let me know your personal plans, because that influences your chart in a big way. Where's Uranus in your chart? Where's your Mercury? Where's your Venus? Because that was huge. That was a huge chart that we all were in. And now we're going to be experiencing something completely different. That being said, you had Uranus influencing your career in the sign of Taurus. So since 2018, 2019, you've been going through these career changes, upheaval, employers coming out at like left field, and changes, retrenchments being dealt with, and just you also walking out, leaving a company or job or any field of career that you have, just been walking away. This was the energy. Uranus is that energy of liberation. It is innovation. It's freedom. This was freedom within career. And that career wasn't giving you that, you would have changed it. Or this is where unexpected changes happen within your career. You could have even seen unexpected growth happen within your career. It doesn't mean that you just saw losses. Remember, Uranus is the unexpected. There's wins and there are losses. It's not just, losses only. And so there would have been a lot of unexpected changes. Career, reputation, unexpected shifts also with parents, because this also rolls over the area of parents. Changes within your parents, situations that would have happened with your parents, sometimes losses or unexpected news, unexpected miracles too, diagnoses that are cured or diagnoses that are found out. This is the energy. Uranus rules over science and miracles, like these unexpected miracles, right? So there's this energy that was going through your life since then. And like I said, the chaos with authority figures, anyone in authority, whether it's a landlord that's an authority or the employer, this was your reputation. This was your reputation where you had to, be unconventional, and people have seen you in that way. And maybe they felt your views were opposing theirs, and you were going through this total reevaluation about money, value, and your career, your goals, your ambitions, and what you want for yourself and your legacy. Now Uranus will enter into Gemini July 7th, where it will remain until 2033. Remember, I did mention Uranus will come back to Taurus, okay? Where you complete that cycle. And during that time, that's when things might come to a head with your career, when you're questioning your career trajectory and the way that you want to move forward. Uranus in Gemini, your social life, networks, vision for the future are transforming. You might leave behind friends or groups that no longer reflect who you're becoming. You decide to walk away from the group. I don't care what group it is, family group, home group, work group. You're sitting with a group of people and these are the people that you choose to associate with. Their choice. Because when we choose to associate with someone, it's a choice. Okay? We're in that group. The neighborhood group, whatever it is, the social justice group that you're part of, this is where you're deciding to make changes. You might walk away. You might decide to join a new group. You might decide to become a social media influencer. Yes, it's influencer social media. This is where you decide you want to tell your story online. You have a unique point of view and you need to share your message. This is Gemini. I have a message. I got something to say. I have an opinion. I have a belief. I want to share it. You want to write about it, teach about it. You want to bring it out into the world through the internet. Okay, this is that kind of innovation. You want to learn something online. You want to teach online. You want to become a leader in your life. This is leadership in your community, online, in person, leadership within your friend circle. You the one with the unique ideas, the future insights about what we should do with the community. Maybe there's a social cause that you stand for and you step up into that and you want to lead the direction which it goes towards. New connections come through tech, global communications, and radical ideas. Yes, your ideas will become radical. Yeah, but this is great. And I don't want you to be like, oh, radical, what does she mean? Am I going to join a group and do something crazy? No, this just means that the ideas that you're having might not be what everybody else has, because Uranus is everything that's not normal. So it's like where your view, other people see it as something that's not of the everyday. And you share it. And maybe people who really get you relate. And maybe this is how you grow your community. You may even build a personal brand online presence that shocks people. Yes, because when we shock people, we get them to think. We get them to shift their mindset. We pull them out of the rabbit hole. That's what you're doing here, right? You're like, I'm pulling you out of the rabbit hole. Think of things differently, okay? And this is what you're doing. And because you are a creative side, you might even do this through creation, art, or in a creative way, in a bold way. You're ready to remove, vocals. You're ready to be more vocal about causes that matter to you, even to start your own movement. I mentioned that. And this is about finding your people, the ones who actually get you, right? This is viral moments, internet fame, collective disruption, tech-based communities, futuristic ideals. And I just want to say, if you're working for a corporation, you might change the corporation that you work for. Like you might I don't want to work at this company anymore. I want to join a company that I see my views, I see who I am, and I can be authentic in it. So it doesn't just have to be like, oh, I'm going to go viral on the internet. This can also be like, you know what? I want to change the job, man. I'm going to go to that job where I know that I can be authentic, I can be myself, and I feel of value. I feel my ideas are heard and listened to. I have a voice in that place, and this is where I want to be. Virgo. This is exciting. Let's talk about it. But before we get into Uranus and Gemini, which is going to be influencing career, let's talk about where you're coming from, okay? So since 2018, Uranus was in Taurus. Took a break. I'll have the exact dates down below. Came back in 2019. And then it's been there since 2019, right now until 2025. And now Uranus will enter into Gemini July 7th. So, and it will come back to Taurus in November of 2025, where it will remain until 2026. And then Uranus will enter back into Gemini, where it will remain until 2033. That being said, let's talk about this Virgo. So where have you been, since 2018? Let me know down below in the comments. This would have taken you on wild adventures, right? Unexpected life turns. This is where you would have wanted to get that education, higher education. This is where you decide to study something. You want to excel. You want to master it. You want opportunities that you can expand and grow, and you want the money for it. And you would have been doing everything in your power to seek it. You were seeking that liberation for opportunities, for finances, and securing that bag. This would have brought a lot of online kind of ideas. This could have also created where you seeking travel, you seeking freedom. You would have had to have your beliefs shattered, okay? Something that you believe to be true, you'd have to find out isn't, okay? This is our belief systems, and you were going through this whole change in beliefs, and it was necessary because what we believe is what we achieve. And this is the area of life where you had to question your beliefs and how true and valid are they, and how can you, grow past them. Are they keeping you in a box? Are they setting you free? Because Uranus is all about what sets us free, right? And this is what you had to do. You would have walked away for some spiritual organization, maybe even a religion, or like some sort of spiritual community would have been like, I don't think this is part of me. Religions you would have walked away from. This is where you kind of were liberating yourself and asking yourself, I need to choose my own beliefs. What is true for me? This was your spiritual quest and would have definitely taken you down the rabbit hole of your spiritual journey. And this was so necessary and so needed. So a lot of you would have went on the quest of like spiritual, pilgrimages or spiritual understandings, crystals, astrology, tarot, energetic works, and deeper understanding. Psychology too. Some of you would have been, had to deal with some legal situations, unexpected, that came your way and maybe even, costed a pretty penny. You had to deal with all of this. And do comment down below your story and what you experienced as a Virgo with this energy. This would have been so deeply transformative for you, so, setting you free on a whole new way. A lot of you would have taken up publishing, so you could have been writing a book, writing a course, teaching, sharing of wisdom and information. This is where you would have been making some money if you decide to share your teachings. Now you're going to have Uranus in Gemini, July 7th until 2033. Yes, it takes a break from 2025 November into April, and then April 2026 Uranus will be in Gemini. This is going to be an angular house from you, okay, especially if you're Virgo rising, but Virgo sun, moons can also feel this too. Now, this is your career, your goals, your reputation. This is how you want to grow within this world. What do you want within this world? How can you achieve it? What is your legacy? Okay? And some of you are going to walk away from the job that's stifling your growth and not giving you the freedom that you deserve. You could have already been thinking these things. You have one foot out the door, or that job you would have been laid off, retrenched, or you're not getting paid for your work. Things have been happening within your career that's going to push you to want career freedom. This is also going to influence your reputation. Share your voice. Say what you need to say, because you are here to be heard. Remember, Uranus is in Gemini. Your unique opinions and thoughts and ideas, share them, because the right people will listen. And this might land you or help you connect to the leaders you need to. So Uranus here is going to influence your career, public role, are due for a total reinvention. I wouldn't be surprised, like I said, breaking free, changing your career, deciding to do something completely different. If maybe you were doing astrology and you're like, I'm done with astrology, I want to do social media. Maybe you were a chef and now you're like, I just want to do travel and tourism or something like that. You totally change. You might abruptly leave a job, change industries, become known for something that surprises even you. You're like, I never thought of doing this in my entire, vision for myself, but here I am now embarking on this new journey. This is you. This is life and why we're alive. Don't be afraid of it. Take the risk, because Uranus is the risk. And when we don't take risks with Uranus, we tend to find ourselves feeling more stuck. And Uranus is a planet that liberates us, so it will liberate you. So make the decision to liberate yourself before it does that, because then it's like, I'm not on this job anymore. But maybe you were so unhappy there, and Uranus will come and put that to an end. And then you're like, find what gives you that career happiness and excitement, because Uranus is excitement. I need to feel excited. I need to be so excited about this. I'm like a scientist in a lab, just trying new things day in, day out, just to find what works. Because I know when it works for me, it's going to work for you and it help our future. Okay? That's the type of energy we're talking about here. Leadership for you now involves originality, not tradition. Okay? This is not like what your parents did. Some of you might even walk away from situations like that. Like if you're in a family-run business, you don't want to do what your parents did. You want to set your own path. Tech, futurism, media, science may call to you. You might go solo, become a consultant, use AI support for your business, expect recognition for your ideas. And once, you seem to be too out there, that is when you might even get the recognition. You're here to revolutionize your field, not be mainstream or do the mainstream system. Disrupting the system is your cause now. Innovative leadership, visibility that shocks public opinions shifts, online reputation changes. Yes, total change, total reinvention, unique perspective. Share it, because you're getting these ideas for the future. Uranus is the future, so you are revolutionizing us as a leader for the future. So share it. Don't be afraid of your inner power, Virgo. Hey Libra, how are you doing? So come into placements down below so that I can, assist you with the astrology. I'd love to hear from you. We're going to talk first about Uranus and Taurus, because we're taking a break from that cycle, okay? Because Uranus enters into Gemini July 7th. And then in November of 2025, Uranus will come back to Taurus, where it will remain until April of 2026. Then Uranus will come back to Gemini, where it will remain until 2033. But we're going to look back from 2018. What have you experienced with Uranus in Taurus, okay? And what you're coming back to from November to April of 2026. This would have created unexpected wins in business partnerships, other people's money, resources, inheritance, tax, loans, insurances, debts. Libra, you have been navigating the waters of finances in this regard. So this would have brought you a lot of unexpected wins and then unexpected losses. You would have noticed your finances were doing the yo-yo, up and down, up and down, up and down. 1 minute your credit's great, 1 minute your credit sucks, 1 minute, you're fine and stable, and the next minute something like your car completely is a write-off, and then you really need to get that insurance to pay it out. Okay, you were dealing with that, or unexpected debts, like people passing away, inheritance, challenges with inheritance, unexpected situations. This would have also created unexpected situations with intimacy. The people that you trust, the people that you're physically intimate with, yes, the people that you lay in bed with, yes, the people that you're emotionally intimate with, the people that you trust. This is where you would have trusted someone and then they turned out to be a thief and a liar. Maybe even took something from you financially. This is where intimacy, you love that person, you're intimate with them, you're physical with them, and next thing it's a divorce or a separation or an ending. This would have created a lot of endings in your intimate life, okay? And it didn't only have to be like the lover and the person that you lay with. It could also be the friend that you told the secret to and the secret got out and now you have to break ties. This was where you were breaking psychic ties, psychic emotional ties that you had to other people. This would have also showed you your psychological traumas when it came to finances and also intimate relationships as you had to face these challenges head on. This would have been a pivotal time for you to seek counseling, therapy, or some sort of life coach to assist you, or even astrology or occult tarot readers for assistance to navigate these challenges. This would have been a journey like no other. Okay, you would have been going through this transformation with Uranus and Taurus, and I'm telling you this because you're not complete. You're going to still feel that coming towards the end of it. Some of you could receive a financial windfall for basically the work you've been doing at business partnerships, investing your time and energy in a business. You would reap the rewards. Maybe you started a business. You would have been reaping the rewards for that. Maybe you went on a spiritual journey and you were now the astrologer. These are the things, the astrologer, the tarot reader, the medium. You were learning these things. This was very deeply spiritual and it was a spiritual awakening. Uranus here shows you your shadow. Uranus here also shows you your gifts of the mystical arts, and you were asked to do that. This could have also made some of you maybe not go into that field, but decide unexpectedly you want to go into business. You really want to go into business, money management. You were doing something of that kind, or you've been researching, deciding you want to go into a profession that involves a lot of research and information. This is the area of life was influencing. Some of you would have dealt with legal situations, especially here where you have to separate resources, shared resources, or something that was shared property, secrets and lies being told, having them have to come out. Not just like you were telling the lies, but if you did, they could have come out, or someone else too. Someone who betrayed you, betrayals, mistrust, abuse of trust, abuse of power. All would have been felt over here, and you had to reestablish the balance and step up into empowerment. Huge shift. Now Uranus is entering to Gemini, which is great because this is you an air sign. This is an air sign. And also let me know down below in the comments, how did you experience Uranus in Taurus? Because this was a lot of upheaval to your subconscious self as well, your psychological self, finances and intimate relationships. But Uranus in Gemini, you an air sign, Gemini is an air sign, July, you're going to experience this, right, until 2033, exact dates down below. Your worldview is going to explode open. Whether it's through travel, higher education, teaching, you shifting in your beliefs, spiritual journey. But this is not the kind of spiritual journey like how you've been on before. This is where you kind of go on a spiritual journey, like a pilgrimage, or, you know, something that's more, you know, finding deeper meaning in life. You've been through the dark night, Phoenix rising through the ashes. Now you want to find the meaning in life. You're seeking the truth. Yes, this can also give you shocks of truth, right? Okay, this also can bring unexpected legal issues, so expect that. This is your spiritual quest. You also are shaping the way that you are thinking. You may abandon belief systems you once relied upon, rebel against institutional education, or even religions, or a spiritual organization, whatever it is that you belong to, you're rebelling. You want to find your own truth. That's the thing here. Teaching, publishing, foreign investments will excel. So if you want to write a course, write a book, teach something, share information, will excel. Take the risk, be innovative, be wacky, be weird. This is Uranus. Don't be afraid to be you. Put it out into the world, let it shine, because this is where you're growing. Internationally might become part of your part, like you might take up public speaking internationally. Your vision of truth is evolving and you're becoming philosophical and a rule breaker. This is the age of your quantum leap, right? Libra, this is huge for you. It's like my whole beliefs are changing. What can I achieve now? I've been through, like, you know, Phoenix rising. Now I want truth. I want meaning. I want purpose. And you go for that. And it's going to come through philosophical books, whether you write them, teach them, share the message, share something, or decide to make changes, like with public speaking in some way and sharing your story. There's a lot of, you know, good stuff that comes out of it. And this is such a profound time for you. Sagittarius, comment down below your placements. I'll respond to you. So let's talk about this. Uranus has been in Taurus since 2018. Then it took a break, came back in 2019, where it remained until 2025. July 7th, 2025, Uranus enters into Gemini, where it stays until November. In November, Uranus comes back into Taurus, okay? And then it'll remain there until April 2026. Then Uranus will enter into Gemini, where it will stay until 2033. I will have the dates linked down below, okay? But I want to talk about Uranus in Taurus first, because you're going to still experience this. This is the cycle you're closing out, and this is what journey you have been on since 2018. This would have created unexpected changes, unexpected challenges when it came to your work, life, your health, and your routine. And some of you would have had to face some unexpected health crises or health management, or had to become very aware of your mental, emotional, and physical health, and how you were basically needing to approach this and think of unconventional means and make unconventional changes. This would have also taken you on an unconventional path when it came to your work. Something you didn't think that you were going to do, and now you're doing it. This would have also brought about like unexpected challenges, maybe lack of finances when it came to work, or lack of finances when it came to studying, lack of finances when it came to starting that business. You would have been dealing with these things. A lot of you then would have had to embark on this journey when it came to business, when it came to your career, your goals, especially your work life. There could have been challenges when it came to co-workers as well that would have arisen with this. This influenced your day-to-day routine as well. So this could have been a chaotic, busy day, or delays within the day, or unexpected news within the day that shifted your entire day. A lot of changes within your routine. I want you to go back, think back to 2018 and where you are today, and what changes have you made to your health, improvements. This was a health journey, a health consciousness awakening, and I'm not talking physical health. This was mind, body, and soul, right? And you had to make these changes for your own well-being. This is also the area of acts of service. And maybe you decided to, take up some unconventional means and methods of acts of service in a way to basically give back. This would have been also the energy of, having to really ask yourself what gives you freedom within your day and how can you do that for your living. These were big questions and big transits that you're experiencing, and come the end of this year, right? The early next year, 2026, you're going to be done with the cycle. And a lot of you would be asking yourself this big question: my work. Something needs to change within my work life. Something needs to change within my, career. Something needs to change within the work that I do. You might even decide that maybe you're done with the work that you're doing and you want to try something new. Or you might also be thinking about like, hey, okay, what changes do I need to make to get the job that I want? There's a lot to do with that. Or what changes do I need to make when it comes to my health? How can I improve my health? This is very much that energy where you're completing that cycle. A lot of you would also be facing those challenges, like I said, when it comes to work. Now, Uranus is going to enter into Gemini, where it's going to remain until 2033. Dates will be down below in the description, okay? Especially if you want to see the exact dates. Now, your relationships. This is the revolution, the grand awakening, the freedom that you require when it comes to partnerships. And partnerships are going to become unpredictable from now until 2033. This means unexpected surprises, unexpected curveballs that can come your way when it comes to relationships, personal and professional. And I'm talking spouses, friends. The moment it's you and that person, unexpected events tend to happen here. And this is what we see. This can, bring like people that are brilliant closer, that really see you for who you are. And this can also make people distant or total unconventional relationship. You might embark on, maybe you don't want to get married and you just want to live together. You want freedom in your relationships. You require this freedom, especially when it comes to relationships and contracts and deals, and even working for a company. You sign a contract, you're seeking freedom within that contract. Freedom becomes a priority within your relationships. And if it lacks that freedom, you break away. And say you're stuck in a relationship that's controlling or holding you down or trying to, it just makes you feel stuck. Sometimes it doesn't even have to be that relationship that's trying to control you, because you are a Sagittarius. You seek freedom within your relationships. Like you want a sense of freedom and deeper meaning. But yeah, it's like, I'm just stuck and I'm feeling like things are dull and boring. Yes, you're going to liberate yourself. Either you do or that person decides to walk away. This is to show you the journey of grand awakening, unconventional relationships. It's taking you on a journey of relationships. And this is powerful. Existing partnerships might shift or end suddenly, especially if you've been compromising your freedom, right? You're learning to relate in new ways. No more codependence or outdated relationship roles. Yes, relationship roles for you are going to change big time. And if you think you know the relationship roles, this is going to still change for you, because that's what Uranus does. It enlightens us about how we, see things, and it becomes more unconventional. So some of you might, decide to unexpectedly get married. Maybe you run away into it. Some of you might unexpectedly decide on divorce. Some of you might unexpectedly become friends with someone you never thought you'd be friends with. Some of you might unexpectedly go for a job to sign a contract and partner up with a company that you never thought you would join. But this is where you're seeking that freedom, and that's going to be your core calling. And I think this is great for you because it resonates with who you are. I mean, Sagittarius rules over freedom. Okay? You are the centaur. The centaur is a man, horse figure. You run wild. You run free. And Uranus takes us to a whole other level of freedom. Okay? Love becomes a space for growth and evolution, not comfort. We either are evolving together or we're falling apart, because evolution is a must. We are always changing, shaping, shifting. And through those changes, shapes, and shifts, do we align or do we no longer align? And there's nothing wrong with that. That's the whole point of life, is to grow and evolve. I don't want you to sit there and become hard on yourself. I'm such a failure. I didn't make this relationship work. I'm such a failure. I didn't make this job work. That's not the point of life. We're not here to make things work. We're here to explore. We're here to adventure out. We're here to try new things. We're here to see how we are evolving and if we can evolve with this person or situation, or we evolve past it. And there's nothing wrong with that. We can change. There's nothing wrong with you or me. We're just different, you know? Business partnerships may also pivot, especially if they involve innovation and communication. So you might decide to take on a business partnership. Maybe you start collaborating. Maybe you start deciding, hey, you know what, I want to start a business. I want sales. I want customers. This is the business I have. And you want to see innovation happen. See, Uranus is the unexpected planet, meaning that it moves sideways. So it's not predictable. It's not the planet that's like, oh, yes, this is going to be gains and wins. No, it can be losses too. But yes, it can mean wins too. The blessing of Uranus is that it shows us the freedom and who we are. And that everything is a process and everything has cycles. And we embrace the freedom within the cycle. That's Uranus. It's liberation. It's freedom. It goes against the grain. It's unconventional. The unconventional relationship, that's it. Maybe you decide, hey, monogamy is not for me and I just want to be free and I'm just going to have hookups, okay? It's freedom. It's not the, the chains to our relationships. And sometimes that can even mean maybe you were too free for too long. Maybe you had too much freedom. Maybe this is all you did. Maybe you weren't monogamous. Now you crave, you want monogamy. This is where you're going through those relationship shifts. This is like what you once wanted, you no longer want. What you want now, completely different. And this allows for evolution, okay? And even your relationships seem that way, unpredictable. Your partners want different things. You want different things. Unconventional love is key. Freedom based on relationships. Freedom to be you, to be me is so vitally important. Sudden breakups or unions, partnerships, and karmic clearing. That is your Uranus in Gemini. Capricorn, Uranus in Gemini. But before we go there, let's talk about Uranus in Taurus, because one, you're still going to experience it. It's only going to be done in cycle 2026. Okay, and you're going to see the exact dates down below. Uranus in Gemini, Uranus in Taurus. Now let's talk about Uranus in Taurus. Comment your placements. I'll respond to you. Let me know how you experienced Uranus in Taurus and what it felt like and what you went through. This was influencing for you, Capricorn, romance, children, inner child, creativity, entrepreneurship, creative ideas too, hobbies, fun, pleasure, joy. This was teaching you the value of joy, the value of pleasure, the value of what you enjoy. And maybe you didn't give in to pleasure. You would then have to decide what gives me pleasure and take into it, because Uranus and Taurus is about values. And here in the area of pleasure is what you value. Maybe your values shifted. Maybe your hobby shifted. Maybe you took up different interests during this time and it was vital. Let's talk romance. Romance would have been a bit messy because unpredictable situations within romance would have happened. Maybe you were dating someone. Maybe they cheated. Maybe you cheated. You would have to deal with the unexpected situations within romance. So this could have created a lot of tensions too for you within relationships. Maybe when you started off with friends with benefits, there was a relationship that deepened. Remember that Uranus is unconventional and it's a planet that moves sideways. It's, it's different. So it's the things that we expect not to work that works, and the things that sometimes we hope too much to work doesn't. It's teaching us about freedom in romance. This is where you would have been unique, unconventional. Online dating, maybe you met someone through online dating, okay? Or online, someone hit you up, social media. Okay, maybe they saw your video and they wanted to talk to you about that because they found your hobbies and interests so fascinating. A lot of this would have transpired with Uranus and Taurus. You would have also went on to the deciding about business and creativity and money and how can you earn money for your creative ideas. And I don't want you to sit there and say, I'm an accountant, what creative ideas? Babes, you have to use that brain of yours and you got to be creative about the way you maneuver those figures. Okay? So let me tell you, regardless of the job vocation you have, your creative genius, because Uranus is genius and you had to use that creativity to secure the bag. creative projects. If you're an entrepreneur, regardless of the company you have, you got to invoke your creativity to come up with the ideas to proceed and take it into the future. Okay, so you can secure that bag because Taurus is that bag. Now, a lot of you are going to be completing the cycle. So you're going to be asking yourself, hey, come to the end cycle, you're going to question the romance that you're in, the romantic connection that you're in. You're going to question your creative endeavors and creative projects. And yes, when it comes to money, if you're an entrepreneur, this is very pivotal and important for you. The hobbies that you have as well. Now, you would also have to deal with Uranus and Taurus, unexpected situations with children. And I mean, this could have even through curveballs. Unexpected accidents, unexpected challenges, unexpected conflicts, unexpected, events, even unexpected pregnancies. Okay, this is like you didn't know. Or maybe you weren't planning to fall pregnant, and now you are. That is what you were dealing with since 2018. This would have been maybe you were pregnant and now you had complications or unexpected situations involving children. Maybe you have a child and maybe it's not an accident. Maybe they get diagnosed with ADD, stuff like that. Unexpected situations involving children, especially if you have children. Or maybe you met someone, fell in love, and they had children, and now children were a part of your life. Right? This is where you decide that you are taking this unconventional role to children. Maybe you went through unconventional methods to fall pregnant or have a baby or adoption. Or maybe, sometimes it's not even the children that you adopt, or maybe it's the neighborhood kids that now spend all the time in your home. Or maybe you're the aunt who the kids are always with, or maybe the uncle the kids are always with, or maybe you're the uncle that the nieces and nephew love the most because they find you so fascinating. And you're like, interesting. This involves children with Uranus and Taurus, children, creativity, and inner child. You would have revelations about your childhood, your upbringing, and how you're going to break, what you were told within your childhood to set yourself free so that you can liberate yourself when it comes to joy and pleasure. Uranus and Gemini is taking you on a whole new direction. This is going to influence work, health, and routine, right? From July until July 2025, 7th until 2033. Yes, Uranus will come back to Taurus. Days down below. So, daily routines, health, work, habits are being electrified. This is where you're going to get unexpected job offers, unexpected opportunities, and unexpected losses when it comes to work. Remember, this is Uranus. It's both. It's never one thing. It's unexpected. It's that wild card energy. Say you're working at a job and it's dull and boring and you outgrow it. Yes, you become redundant. You get retrenched. You get let go of. Those are the things that happen here. So that you can find the vocation and job that you love to do. Find the job that gives you the most freedom. So this is, you might leave behind traditional jobs for tech-based roles or self-employment. Right? Maybe you've had all the creative ideas. Now you want to go out into self-employment. Automation, AI may replace part of your job and you may master these tools to become indispensable. So, this becomes a part of your job. So you start mastering these tools, you become indispensable. Maybe AI takes over your job and now you decide you're jobless and now you need to find something else. These are the things that you're doing. Maybe you become, start your own business. You're doing something. You're setting yourself for a job that you would never think. Maybe you travel to these foreign lands, right? Maybe you go to China, okay? And maybe you have a job there and then you come back to your native city and you're like, you know what? I want to move to China to do the job that I enjoy doing there. I've seen this happen. Right? Especially with work-related situations where it's unconventional, something they didn't expect. It wasn't the field that they were planning to go into, but they got offered a role. They went for a short-term contract, and then they decided, hey, that's it. I want to be there. And I know I was studying law, but maybe now I want to do teaching. It's like that. Right? Your body could respond strangely to stress now. Very strangely. So take note. Health becomes a priority. Burnout is real because unexpected curveballs happen today and you find yourself so busy that you don't take care, you're not eating well, not sleeping well, your mental health is running like a circus and you just emotionally all over the place and on a sofa level, you don't know where your soul is, you feel like, oh my God, I'm so busy that I feel soulless. Come back to self. when your mind is running rampant with ideas and thoughts, come back to self. You're going to have to take care of your health. Stress will become a real thing. Nervous tension and anxiety is going to be a real thing. And health, unexpected health curveballs, unexpected health situations, miracles too within health can happen. This is Uranus. I've seen this happen. Okay, your nervous system is vitally important as you are more sensitive now. You're being nudged towards, biohacking, alternative healing, working in ways that feel right for your, evolving rhythm. And that is so important. You're going to also maybe decide to start a healthcare practice. This could also be something that you do, but it is where you're getting more involved in health, work, and routine. You might decide to join a gym. You might decide a new form of fitness, alternative healing, something that you want to do. Maybe you want to study it. You're doing these things. Maybe you want to teach about alternative healing. These are the things that you're doing. Your nervous system becomes key, and you're finding ways to bring that nervous system to peace. And you can handle a lot of stress, Capricorn. But Uranus in Gemini is a stress on a whole nother level, because Uranus is electrifying. Gemini is like the quickest planet around the sun. Boom. You must know this is like all the time firing ideas, thoughts, busyness, curveballs. That stress becomes, a real thing for you. And the ideas that you have and the unconventional ways that you, can show up when it comes to health. You might even teach us something about health. Okay. Hello, Aquarius. Woohoo! You must be relieved because Uranus has been in Taurus since 2018. I'm going to put the dates down for Uranus in Taurus and Gemini in the description. So check it out if you want to know the exact dates. But we're going to talk about both Uranus in Taurus and Uranus in Gemini in this video because, one, you are completing a cycle. Uranus will come back to Taurus in November of this year, okay, till 2026 April. Then Uranus will go into Gemini, where it will stay until 2033. So yes, Uranus is entering into Gemini July 7th. So we're getting a preview. Take this as a preview, okay? Uranus has been in Taurus, and I want you to comment down below your experiences, what you felt. Let's have a conversation, share your placements. I want to talk to you about this. Uranus in Taurus. This could have created unexpected changes, unexpected events that shifted your family dynamics. And some of you could still even be shifting your family dynamics because you're completing that cycle by 2026. So family members getting sick, loss of family members, loss of home, unexpected living situations, challenges with loved ones, unexpected news from loved ones, unexpected truths about loved ones. Yes, the people that you domestically share your living space with, like if you trusted someone, unexpectedly deception came to light. Unexpected curveballs. Maybe you were living with someone and they walked out. This was like home, family, heart. Maybe you loved a friend. Maybe there was someone that you shared your emotional self with, and that changed. That person walked out, or you decided to break free from that connection. Either way, you saw changes. Yeah, these were those pivotal moments within your life since 2018 where family, home, emotional self was up for renovation, and unexpected changes happened, and it felt like the earth was moving beneath your feet. Because let's face it, Uranus, Taurus, earth, Uranus shifts. Some of you would have even experienced or been a part of natural disasters. Yeah, because Uranus and Taurus can bring about like earthquakes, natural disasters, stuff like that, like more prevalent. Like even where I live, I saw some natural disasters like tornadoes, which never ever happened, ever. Okay, and all the time that I've been alive, I only just saw that with Uranus in Taurus. So with tornadoes and stuff, so this could have brought about a lot of that, changes within family, changes within home. Maybe maybe you're part of an unconventional family setting. Like you decided, I no longer want to get married. I want to be in an unconventional marriage. Maybe you want to be in a lavender marriage. Maybe you want to be in an unconventional relationship. Maybe there were some deep insights about your sexuality. And you must know that Uranus brings this energy forward within us very strongly. Okay? Where unconventional family settings are now embraced, especially, and because now you are deciding your sexuality. This is where the normal man, wife picket fence, 2.5 kids, house, you know, this is where you unconventionally do something completely different. Maybe you decide, oh, you know what? I want to go live off the grid, and maybe I want to be celibate. Maybe I want to be in a relationship that's unique and different. Maybe my sexuality now is like different, and compared to, like, you know, what they call it heterosexual or whatever, I'm now developing this new sense of self and identity. And because of this, I'm breaking free from family patterns, you know, maybe family patterns of addiction, family, you know, when you can't express yourself for who you are, you're breaking free of those patterns, can't think of the word, and you're just liberating yourself emotionally, and you're being more authentic to who you emotionally are. This, yes, does show you about your sexuality, and you decide what you want when it comes to your sexuality. This, and what type of relationships you want, and who you want to connect to, and who you want to share a living space with. Because yes, our relationships and who we love, and whether we love or whether we don't want to love, or whether you know, ace, whatever it may be, this is where you decide, hey, my living situation completely changes, and you make that change for yourself. And not only just that, this could also made you like unconventional home settings. You go live off the grid. You decide you want to live in an apartment, but all your life you lived in a house, or maybe you lived in a farm and now you're living in a house. You know, you're doing things that shift your home life that's different, unique. Maybe something that you do that's unique when it comes to your home and family. Or maybe it's an unconventional relationship. Maybe it is one of those relationships that's a blended family. Or maybe the partner that you choose is from a different background. Because this was not just changing home and family and roots and ancestry, yes, but it was also changing your heart. This is your emotional well-being, and to the core, you went through the most deep, profound emotional revelations from 2018 that was awakening you to the most profound way in your life. There was no way you could shake this off. There was no way you could, like, you know, ignore your emotions. You had to be authentic. You had to be true to your emotions. And then now in July, we have Uranus in Gemini, and this is pivotal. With Uranus in Gemini, right, you are going to, this is going to influence your creativity, your romance, your children. This is where your creativity is being electrified in self-expression, and you are changing. Art, performance, creation explode, but it won't look traditional. You'll have different artistic creative ideas and hobbies. Your hobbies and interests will just change. You'll be, you know, deeply into it. Romance, yes, unconventional. Maybe you meet them through the internet. Maybe you meet them off social media. Maybe you meet them in an unconventional setting. Maybe you were at a theater production and that's where you met them, and you've never been to one before. You know, it's unconventional. It's unconventional, something that is very different. Maybe you were at a show and that's where you meet them. This is like romance to this unconventional. Romantic endeavors will shape and change from now till 2033. You're going to see big changes, okay? Meaning that either the partner you're with breaks up with you, or maybe the partner you're with, you know, you'll elope randomly. You'll do things like that. Or maybe, you know, you walk away from the relationship. Maybe you change what love and romance means for you, and it's unconventional now, and it's different. There's a whole shift. You must know you went through this emotional shift, and now you're going to go through a romantic shift. Yes, breakups and shakeups can happen. When it comes to children, unexpected pregnancies, miraculous pregnancies. We can even call this like pregnancy through unconventional means, right? Whether this is through, you know, IVF or adoption or something unconventional when it comes to children. Maybe you have kids, right? Or grandkids, and there's children around you, and maybe now they have learning disabilities, or maybe they're going through a hard time. Children become very prevalent also. Younger people become prevalent in your wisdom to share. This can also bring up like entrepreneurship. Your creative ideas are exploding, you know, and now you're so good with your hobby that you love, and the creative ideas are exploding off the page that you decide, hey, I want to become an entrepreneur. Maybe you decide to go into content creation. Maybe you do something that's unconventional because you're sharing your truth through your creativity, right? You might use AI tools, video, interactive formats, showcase your brilliance. Romantic experiences may be intense, short-lived, or with people totally outside of your usual type. If you thought your love life didn't change, it's going to change even more. And maybe you married and you're like, wait, what? You might decide, hey, let's try something different in our romantic, you know, sphere of things. Let's spice things up. Let's reignite the spark. Let's play dress up. This is the things that you start thinking about. Let's role play. Let's have some fun here. Okay, this is all about fun and pleasure, and it's like unconventional means to have fun and pleasure. And say maybe you want to do this role play, the other person like, what? Oh my goodness, what? This is where the relationship can fall away, because you are evolving and you want different experiences. You want to feel alive through your creativity and passion and joy and happiness. And this is how you're tapping into it, through unconventional means. And if they're with you and they don't understand this is not going to work. But if they embrace this is so going to work, because you're looking for freedom in romance. Let's be unconventional, different, and unique together. Let's try different things out. Let's see what works for us. Maybe we always go for that date at the same place, but maybe we should try a different place, okay? You will experience breakthroughs with children, yours, others. You're becoming a vessel for future art, love, and expression. And I love this for you. Creative invention, sun, love, viral content. Yes, content becomes viral. Unpredictable joy. Future kids and legacy become a theme. Okay. Pisces. This has been so exciting time with Uranus and Gemini. But before we go there, let's talk about Uranus and Taurus. And we're also going to talk about Uranus and Gemini. So you're going to see the dates down below in the description. Okay. To comment your placements, let me know what you experienced since 2018 with Uranus and Taurus, because you are still on that journey and completing that cycle in 2026. So Uranus will enter into Gemini July 7th, but it's going to go back into Taurus in November, where it will remain until April 2026. Then Uranus will come back to Gemini, where it will remain until 2033. But let's talk about Uranus in Taurus since 2018. This would have given you ideas. Your voice would have became very vital. You had value in what you were saying. You might have gotten paid for what you had to say, teach, write, or share. Pisces, you were gifted the ideas. You might have also experienced unexpected events around vehicles. Okay, cars, you would have experienced unexpected events, or maybe you had to pay more for a car. Unexpected expenses around cars would have been a thing. You might have went on unexpected short distance trips, unexpected travels, unexpected news when it came to siblings, relatives, family, cousins, unexpected events with neighbors. Okay, so this would have been very much so that type of energy. Maybe there was a natural disaster and you had to go be with your neighbors for a bit, something like that. Unexpected events. Maybe you had a nosy neighbor, right? Neighbor was so nosy and they were always there, and then this turned to unexpected disruption, and you had to basically set down the boundaries. Or maybe you were part of a block, and in that block there were some robberies and you were all together on the neighborhood group chat talking about it. And unexpected events within the neighborhood, unexpected events within short distance trips, unexpected news, events with siblings. Maybe they became distant, maybe your siblings became distant from you, maybe you grew closer. Uranus is unpredictable, and it brings a mixed bag of tricks. It's not something that's like, oh, it's all good. It's unexpected, it's wild, right? Maybe through unexpected events, you and your siblings or cousins or family members grew closer because it rose over relatives. Maybe something within your neighborhood brought you closer together. Maybe there was a disruption, a shooting, a looting, and now you and your neighbors all had to come close together, right? So this was unpredictable events within neighborhoods, unpredictable events within your relatives, family members, and also your mind. You were gifted with ideas, brilliance, writing, teaching, sharing of information. And if you put it out there, this would have been like you getting money for what you put out online. Content creation, social media managers. Maybe you decide to take that, vocation. You had a message to share. You had a way to communicate, and it secured your bag. You would have seen contracts, launching of products, ideas that you had that sold. Okay, and doesn't mean it's over. We're still going to deal with Uranus and Taurus. So if you have those ideas, put it out, because Uranus will reap the rewards for the hard work you have been putting in. Okay. Now, Uranus and Gemini. This is going to be an angular house to you, okay? This is going to be your home, family, roots, ancestry. Pisces, let me know though about Uranus and Taurus and how you experience it. What are your plans? How do you want to complete the cycle? Are you going to go for that bag and put out the idea and see the wins or not? But let's talk about Uranus and Gemini. This is home, family, roots, legacy, emotional self. You're going to go through an emotional leveling up. Unexpected events that touch your heart. Okay, maybe it is family events, maybe it's unexpected events. And when we say Uranus, it can be unexpected losses, Right? Maybe a loved one passes. Maybe an unexpected loved one comes in. Long lost sibling. Right? This is unexpected. It's Uranus. It shows us the truth too. But all of it is to enrich your heart. Maybe you even go through a change of how you love and give love and how you want to be loved and who you want to love. Unconventional. Share your heart with. Who do you want to share your heart with? This is where you decide, how you love, how you give love, what you receive in love, and how you want to approach love. So yes, there's going to be some disruptions to your home. You might walk away from that relationship. You don't want to live with that person anymore. Maybe you want to live with someone else. Your heart is going to go through this shift. Maybe that relationship would deepen. Maybe you speak your heart, right? Because you use your voice, you communicate, and you speak what's in your heart, and that relationship deepens. This is Uranus. Relationships can dissolve and evolve. So there's room for that. You want freedom in love. Okay, and this is what you're requiring. You're going to see unexpected events within family, maybe gossip, news. Unexpected news comes to light. Like I said, family members can also pass during this time because that's an unexpected event, or maybe an unexpected birth, unexpected family, growth can happen. New family members, more weddings, more births that can happen. This is also your emotional patterning. You're going to be letting go of any emotional patterning from your lineage, okay? Whether that is lack mindset, whether that's drug addiction, whether that's shopping addictions, whether that is procrastination, these are the addictions and the mindsets that are imprinted, and you're going to now be releasing them through facing them head on. It can come up through an emotional trigger, meaning all of a sudden you realize by that procrastination and you notice, hey, my family procrastinates on things, they never get anything done. And now you see oh my God, this has made you lose a major deal in your life, and you decide there and then, I'm going to change that. I'm going to change that for me, my lineage. We are going to no longer do this thing. We're going to move on ideas. Okay, so that family lineage, that family emotional patterning, that family emotional trauma, that's going to also come up too, family emotional trauma. Truth about family will be revealed. Any secrets, like I said, that secret sibling, secret affair, secret anything under the rug comes to light. Secret debt, secret wealth, okay? It all comes to light here because Uranus does that. Real estate shifts. You might buy a home, sell a home, move from your home. You're going to be deciding what you want within your home life, and what does roots mean to you. Maybe your family believe that, buying a home is the worst thing in the world and it's just going to put you in financial debt, and you've never did. And now all of a sudden you decide, I think I want to buy a home, right? You're going to make these unexpected, unconventional choices that break away from family conditioning of your lineage. Maybe your family always lived in this area and location. You decide, that's it, I don't want to live here no more. I want to travel to New Guinea. Okay, you're going to be unconventional. You're going to do those things that surprise you and others, especially within your family. And this is maybe your family has a family business and you've been a part of it for years, and you decide, no, I've had a change of heart. My true passion is sewing, and I'm going to sew a whole lot of pretty dresses, and I'm going to go online and I'm going to sell them. And I can't do this. And this is those type of things. It's also maybe all your families, members were into construction, and you decide, that's it, I'm not going to be a construction worker. I'm not going to develop houses. I'm going to go into something completely different. This is that whole experience. Your foundation, home, family, and ancestry and inner world is in flux. You might move unexpectedly, renovate, right, with smart tech, or live more nomadically, right? Emotional patterns from childhood could be disrupted and reprogrammed. Family relationships may go through dramatic shifts. Like I said, truth bombs. These are all the family secrets coming to light. Anything kept hidden, right? This was your father. This is no longer your father. It's somebody else or something like that. This is unexpected revelations, truths being revealed, and it's empowering. And you're creating a new definition of home based on your freedom and truth. So this is not defining you. Don't look at these family secrets as a moment of definition of who you are as an individual. No, you are redefining your truth. It's almost like the truth that you get from relationships and family, and you see things very clearly, makes you change your personal truth and emotional freedom and what you want for yourself. It could involve healing generational wounds, with futuristic tools. So it's like where you futuristic tools, like, so like maybe using AI or something, and it gives you an idea about, ancestral wounds. But I also think this is a way deeper. I feel like it could involve like generational wounds where you are changing for your future lineage, right? Smart homes is a thing. Family karma awakening, yes. Real estate shifts, emotional detachment for growth. And that's a good thing because it's all happening in the air sign. You kind of emotionally detach from it. Although you feel your emotions, you're going to detach so that you can progress. And Uranus is excellent at electrifying us to push us to progress. So do comment your placements. Let me know if you're excited about this. What are you expecting? Some of you could have already been feeling some of these changes. I have been feeling some of these things. So let me know. Scorpio, we are going to be talking about Uranus in Taurus and Uranus in Gemini because we're still in that transit. It's not completely done yet. See, Uranus will enter into Gemini July 7th, where it will remain until November of 2025. November of 2025, Uranus will enter back into Taurus, where it will stay until April of 2026. Then Uranus moves back into Gemini, where it will remain until 2033. Exact dates you will find down below in the description. So you're going to be going through this cycle. It's been a cycle with Uranus and Taurus since 2018. This would have brought about unpredictable events to your relationships, one-on-one partnerships, contracts, deals, marriages, relationships. They were unpredictable. This is where truths were being revealed, either from your side, the other person's side. This is where the person walked away, you decide to walk away. Relationships lacked stability. Okay? You don't get anything stable with Uranus. Uranus is wild card energy. It's unpredictable events. It is the energy that turns everything upside down within relationships, even friendships, because the moment you sat opposite someone and it was one-on-one, that is when you would have felt this, unpredictable turn of events within relationships. Now, it's not all bad. Yes, there could have been major changes, breakthroughs, revelations within relationships, but also the opportunity for relationships that hold freedom. See, it's not that Uranus prevents relationships. It wants relationships that allow for freedom. The freedom for me to be me and the freedom for you to be you. And can we work this out together? Can we? That was the big question. Who are you? Who am I? And how can we be free to be who we are together? And that was the energy. So if you're in a relationship and it lasted, it was a relationship that held freedom. Now, if you were in a relationship that made you feel stuck, controlled, power plays, power dynamics, deceptions, betrayals, lack of anything else, you would have felt the need to leave, the need to flee, the need to liberate yourself and embark on freedom. And I won't lie, with Uranus and Gemini, you're still going to get that opportunity. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of Tauruses either got divorced, separated, went through some sort of legal situation with a partnership, be it professional even, as well as personal. Because there was a lot of injustice and you need to stand up for yourself. Uranus is where we, stand up for injustice. Injustice done to us, injustice to the people we love. Okay, that's what it is. Your partnerships, the connections that you have. And it was a huge journey that you went on. Do let me know down below in the comments how this resonates with you. What did you experience within your relationships? Because it gives us this unexpected feeling and unexpected events within relationships that are out of our control. You can't control Uranus. It's not about control. It is about embracing liberation on a soul level, okay? Now Uranus enters into Gemini. And we're going to see the same themes occur because it's happening in the area of intimacy. We are talking the physical intimacy that you have in the bedroom, the person that you lay with, as well as the intimacy where you share the emotional parts of yourself. So don't just think about where you get naked with someone, but think about where you also get emotionally naked. If there's a friend and you share your secrets with, this is the type of intimacy. There's a family member that knows your intimate secrets, what's in your heart. Yes, we're talking these relationships. It's still going to give you the same unpredictable energy, betrayals as well, truths being revealed about your most intimate and closest relationships. It's going to still influence business partnerships, business dealings, as well as joint finances, spouses' money, or anyone that you share resources with, business partnerships, where you invest your time and energy in order to see gains, other people's money, inheritances, as well as death and losses. Okay, so Uranus here can bring you unexpected wins. Maybe you get, you land the business partnership, you land the opportunity where you can work-wise that's going to financially bless you. Or maybe you go through the whole period of becoming redundant or losing that job, or you yourself want to break free from the job that's keeping you stuck. This is going to allow for financial freedom. Uranus wants to give us that, but we got to risk it for the biscuit. We got to embrace this unexpected liberation and get that edge, because Uranus is an edge. It is. It's edgy. It's daredevil-y. It's that energy of like, I'm going to be unique, original, authentic to myself and go for what I desire. So you can't see yourself falling away from a situation, but it's not because you're falling short or that's the end. No, it's trying to put you in the place where you need to be for the liberation of your soul, financially, emotionally, and spiritually. Psychological traumas are going to surface. This might be a point in time where you go for counseling, therapy, life coaching, astrology. You might even delve deeper into spiritual practices. You might even delve deeper into crypto, business investments, financial gains, seeing how you can work with the stocks, ways to boost your finances through investments. This is something that you will be dealing with Uranus. And you can expect wins and you can expect losses, because Uranus is, how do I remain in faith through the wins and losses within life? Both when it comes to my intimacy and relationships, as well as my finances. You're going to go through complete transformation, because if you are Scorpio rising, this is going to influence your 8th house. Now for your Scorpio sun, you can look at it from your solar sun. Scorpio moons will also feel this, but that's the area of Scorpio. Scorpio rules the 8th house. So this is your home. So you know all about, the phoenix rising from the flames. That is you. And this is what is giving you on a much deeper and profound level. It's giving you everything that you are deeply and profoundly. So my advice to you during this time is to embrace total liberation. Can we see divorces with this? Yes, because the 8th house is where we decide to look at our shared resources, what you own, what I own, and how can we divide it, okay? Or the business partnership that you decide to walk away from. But it's going to be giving you this liberation, this empowerment. And I like it for you. Because it's Gemini, it's not so, it's emotional, yes, because obviously anything that happens in the area of Scorpio, 8th house energy is emotional, right? But at the same time, it's Gemini that's carrying this. So this is more where you're analytical about it. You kind of detached too. So it's like you experience what you experience, you feel the feelings, but there's a sense of detachment. And the more you let go to, the easier the detachment comes about. So it's a profound experience. Do share in the comments what you're looking forward to. I'm not here to make you afraid or like, oh, this is a terrible transit, but I'm here to give you the truth that it brings the good and the bad. It's a wild card chaos. It is the unexpected. It's surprises that make us happy. And it's the surprises that just basically, knock us at the same time. That's Uranus. It is this powerful energy. And you might even feel the need to rebel from your most intimate relationships as well. This is your psychological liberation. This is where you're unpacking your emotional trauma and closet of where you've been betrayed, hurt, and you're, liberating yourself from trust, who you trust, and probably learning to trust yourself and your instincts more, but allowing the relationships that you do have that trust with, a sense of freedom. Freedom is what's going to help you too. And this does not mean don't trust anyone. It's powerful, but it is teaching you, about trusting your instincts, trusting your intuition, and as well as allowing trust within relationships that embrace this freedom and, depths of who you are. And you're going to be seeking out as well. Deep relationships. This is still your house. Even though it's in Gemini, you might want to have deep conversations. You might even take up teaching, sharing spiritual wisdom, or probably already doing it, and now you're just going to do it on a whole next level. Okay, so this is a really interesting transit. Looking forward to how it unfolds, and do share in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for joining me on this video, listening to all the signs and paying attention to everything I had to say. I'd love to hear your insights. Do comment down below. I do read the comments. I do try to respond to most comments. And if you'd like to book a reading with me, there will be a link down below in the description. Looking forward to hearing from you. Until next time.